Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is closer look time, and today we have a very, very special treat. We are talking about the anthology response to user feedback. This is it aligning with the February 2026 release, but not actually part of the release. We thought that this is a really great, timely opportunity for us to invite a special guest with us. So joining us today, we have the Senior Director of Product Management, also known as the head of Blackboard Core, and that is Dom Gore from Anthology. So welcome, Dom.
Hey guys, great to be here. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dom.
No, yeah, welcome, welcome. We thought that this month would be a great time for us to just kind of really focus in on Anthology's role, or sorry, Anthology's view and value on user feedback. And as you can tell from the amount of ums and uhs and correcting of my own speech, the only note I've made for a script is we have no script today. So really just kind of an open forum and inviting you, Dom, to share a bit about all of that.
Sounds good.
So maybe what we'll do is to start, and this will give me a moment to catch my breath and figure out what I'm going to ask you next, is so Senior Director, Product Management, Head of Blackboard Core. Can you tell folks who aren't familiar with Anthology so much what that role really means?
Of course, yeah, no, I appreciate it. Very, very long and quite a long-winded title. Essentially, it means that I lead our product management team for Anthology. So my team is responsible for the kind of the whole focus, the roadmap, the prioritization of the Blackboard LMS solution. And obviously, it's all about how we engage with customers. We're part of a wider set of, team members, including kind of our product design team as well as our product development team as well. So sort of that three sides of the triangle, but we obviously interface predominantly with customers and clients and get your feedback around how we prioritize the roadmap going forward. So that's pretty much what my team does, and I kind of lead that team.
Awesome, very good. And that's probably a nice way to kind of segue into, and this is why we're so aware of and why we thought this is a good topic to hone in on, is how highly you value user feedback and
Sure.
the way that we're able to, as users, kind of help influence and shape and redefine the way Blackboard kind of evolves and grows. So, do you want to tell us a bit about the way that we are able to do that?
100%, yeah. So there's obviously lots of different mechanisms that we have, but I mean, I think the predominant thing is that it's vital for us. I mean, user feedback, we want feedback from students, from faculty, from administrators. All of that is kind of crucial to kind of the way that we engage and the way that we deliver the product. I mean, ultimately, the products that we create, obviously you are our end users. We want to understand if we're going to giving that technology out, we want your kind of overall feedback because you're using it on a day-to-day basis. So absolutely vital. We have lots of different mechanisms, the way that we engage and can kind of get that type of information from sort of our clients, the faculty, the students, the admins. We have things like regular focus groups. We've got things like our ideas exchange as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we obviously welcome any type of feedback onto that's an opportunity for you to review the ideas that are on there, kind of suggest new ideas. There's a whole process around being able to kind of upvote those ideas as well, so it kind of goes into a regular set of reviews that my team looks at. My team are, we have dedicated sort of work streams that we focus on sort of a holistic approach across the entirety of the LMS. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're kind of putting ideas in, for example, around things like assessment and grading, there are dedicated product managers and designers and engineers that will review those on a weekly basis and obviously look at that, how we move that one forward. But that is just one mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Focus groups, the regular one-to-one sessions that we run with institutions as well. We have weekly office hours sessions. So we have opportunities where admins from across the globe can join us. We run one for North America every Tuesday, 12 till 1 Eastern time. We run one monthly for our sort of Asia Pacific region as well as our EMEA regions as well, and that's a great opportunity to kind of get like-minded admins together and obviously faculty members as well. And there's a lot of adjunct professors that tend to join that session to kind of give us feedback on kind of the things they would like to see. And obviously, we use these as opportunities to essentially review also the weekly or the monthly kind of updates that take place, any kind of weekly releases that we also have as well in terms of things like bug fixes, but also kind of your feedback around kind of key topics. I mean, I think one of the most recent ones that we've had lots of feedback on is predominantly things like the new system navigation changes kind of come into
Mm-hmm.
took place in January. Obviously a lot of feedback around things like the kind of the course level banner and the input, and obviously we look at the feedback on the ideas exchange. There was a lot of comments around those. Community site as well is a great bit of a plug there, but if you're not signed up for it, highly recommend that you do. It's a great opportunity to kind of engage with like-minded sort of faculty members and admins globally. But this is a great example of that. I mean, we've had a lot of feedback on our office hours based on faculty feedback globally around the impact of the banner. How
Mm-hmm.
do you think about sort of the gradient that's on there? Kind of, we've had some impact around, people have leveraged it. It's not easy to read, and obviously how we kind of pivoting and sort of shifting our approach to take that on board. I believe it was only last week that we kind of put several options out there for kind of people to kind of vote on. What are your preferences? And obviously we
Mm-hmm.
make sure that we can take that into effect. So and we're actioning those things are going into our kind of our next release moving forward. So lots of
Okay.
ways you can interact, but
Mhm.
that's a great example of it.
Yeah, and I think with and for folks from Georgia College, just a kind of a plug as far as how that feedback works too. I think we just did a quick check, and we have about 50 different ideas that Georgian College has brought forward and put in current. And I know we're approaching 10. I think that we've suggested and have actually been released into Blackboard. So your feedback definitely doesn't fall on deaf ears. It's coming to us. We're putting it together, packaging it up, and putting it forward. And as you mentioned, Dom, that people are voting and bringing those changes right to into action. So that's awesome. You mentioned the banner as kind of the course banner as the example, and I think here locally that's the poster child of when releases don't land the way probably you anticipate them. Like everything else, I think in that release has been fantastic, and then the visual aesthetic of what's happening with that banner image is kind of I guess maybe because it's the first thing you see when you come into that course, it's very large, so it made it a bit more obvious. So I'd love, if you don't mind, to kind of give us a bit of a glimpse into what kind of changes we might be able to expect to see with the update to the banner images.
Yeah, sure. So I think that the when it comes to kind of aesthetics and things, I just want to outline that there's always that kind of balancing act between how we manage sort of the overall engagement, the aesthetics of obviously of the platform, and then we have to think about kind of things like the accessibility components as well. And that's obviously a critical thing that we have to kind of take into account. The feedback generally that we had was that the current gradient that we have on the actual individual banner can obviously render some of the actual the imagery and obviously the information quite hard to read. We wanted to make sure that there was a clear contrast between sort of the course ID, the course name that can be available on the banner, and obviously kind of any imagery behind it. So the things that we're moving forward on are essentially reducing the overall gradient, actually making it easier to kind of highlight and display. We want to make sure that there is a clear and consistent experience as you go into smaller breakpoints as well. So one of the things that we found on some of the additional ideas that we took forward was that we could basically put a kind of a darkened component behind the sort of the course name, course ID. What would that look like? Is that something that actually got quite a number of people's votes across the various office hours that we ran? The one thing that we did find, though, is that potentially could impact smaller breakpoints. So it could potentially bleed into the current kind of menu system that you have on things like mobile. So again, these are things that we have to think about. So really the first iteration is kind of reducing the overall kind of individual gradient that's available on there, just to make it easier to view. and obviously kind of, less harsh as you move forward. And we're still continuing to refine longer term improvements. I mean, this is all the things that kind of came into account in sort of January and the February release are part of a large scale set of design changes that we're moving forward on. So more to come down that route, but this is a first iteration of us really taking your feedback on board, reducing the white space, making the aesthetics of Blackboard easier to use, and honestly kind of improving the general look and feel of the platform, which we've wanted to do for a number of years. And it's not just a course experience. We want to take into account things like the courses area when you access the kind of the main base navigation. Can we think about iterating on that as well? So this is a real sort of a step-by-step approach to kind of really improving the general aesthetics of the entire platform. So excited about where we're going, but that's the general improvement, which is kind of reducing the overall contrast.
Yeah, and I noticed you just kind of you showed your hand here a little bit, that everything, and we see this a lot with releases, is they're steps towards or they're steps that are sequential, that it may be like, oh, now we've got pop-out rubrics, and then now we've got pop-out rubrics with AI integrated into the feedback piece, and so everything kind of builds on what has come previously. Sure. And then you're talking about this being kind of the next step in banners, and there's more to come, and so on. And and that probably is a good segue to kind of lead us into what is maybe, or how can we know about what's coming forward in Anthology at Blackboard.
For sure, yeah, and I think the things like the office hours, the roadmap sessions coming forward. Again, a bit of a shameless plug here, folks, but the roadmap is coming up in a few weeks' time. We commence on the 16th of Feb, so if you want to join that, the registration page, we'll make sure we share. But yeah, they're great opportunities for you to kind of see that. So I think in terms of additional sneak peeks, like I said, this is the first iteration that we've done, moving to that full screen view. The next set is reviewing kind of the level down. So when you're accessing things like a learning module, for example, currently you still have that concept of that panel that gets displayed and pulled in from the right hand side. We want to move to a full screen experience, again, a more, I guess you would say, a more focused view for people when they're engaging in the system. Obviously, really taking into account that new breadcrumb trail as well that you can see at the top of the kind of the main course. That will really come into its own, as well as the kind of the deeper you go directly in that learning module. So it's really looking at how we can kind of improve the sort of the panel display, moving some of those focus view workflows, and then start thinking about how we can transition that as to the sort of the second and third layer deep as you navigate with inside the course. So more of a sneak peek, more to come on that. We will be sharing more kind of early design iterations on that over the course of the next few weeks, certainly on our forthcoming office hours, again, like I said, on the roadmap as well. But we want your feedback, we want this. We've got ideas and iterations around it. We take these to regular focus group sessions as well. So whilst we have these main weekly sessions, we also do targeted end user sessions as well, kind of usability testing, A/B testing as well with faculty members and obviously students as well, to kind of get their input as well. So more to come, but that would be the initial ones to kind of see where we're going with this, the roadmap and office hours.
Fantastic. Yeah, and we will make sure we will put the link to that in the video description here, so folks can certainly register. So that's great. I think just in the interest of time, and I know like you've carved out a chunk of your evening to be here, so appreciate that. And maybe we'll wrap up there. But if folks have any questions, feel free to send them along. If this video was helpful, folks, then we'd love for you to like it, comment, share, subscribe, let people know that you're watching and following along. And yeah, if here you go, Faith, your time has come, your moment to shine.
It's just a reminder for our Georgian faculty and other folks that we host our Blackboard support sessions virtually on Teams every Tuesday and Friday at 10:30. We usually wrap up around 11:20. They're informal. It's a great place for you to share your feedback with us as a starting point, and we can roll it out and connect with the broader team on your ideas and suggestions about Blackboard or anything else. But to locate that link, all you're going to do is head to the Blackboard calendar and you'll see it in there on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a wrap. So thanks again, Dom, for joining us. We really appreciate it. And I know.
Thank you for letting me come, McCall. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Stay tuned. We've got more exciting stuff to share with you here on the channel. So I think that's it from us. So thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.